Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
It's a little dark, so I might go get some more light in a second. But we are now live streaming
That's better.
Our very first Starcraft 1 playthrough.
Woohoo!
We're going to be playing through the campaign. Greg, you can explain what we're going to be doing here today.
Yeah,
That's
we are going to be...
much better than I can.
Yes. I'm super excited. We are going to be playing through the entirety of Starcraft 1, and then the entirety of Starcraft 2, which, just the campaign modes, to do a comparison, in large part, between the two, as a way to kind of get at a little bit of what the story of Blizzard Entertainment over these years, from 1998 all the way up through 2014 or 15, I believe, with the last release for StarCraft 2, with Legacy of the Void. And how their storytelling changed, how their tone changed, how their gameplay changed, and how it affected all of these things, as well as just looking into the grave a very good look at storytelling in RTS games, and the different things that each game did, and why one, in my opinion, was more successful than the other. Overall, each one was successful at different things. Spoiler.
Sure.
But yeah, so we're actually going to jump in. Should we just start playing first, and we can do a different video when I give the... Because one thing that is very different about this particular time period, for those of you who remember being alive in 1998, a lot of things actually were, especially with Blizzard, a lot of lore was held in the game booklet manual that came with the games, which doesn't exist anymore. I don't even know if you are aware the games are physical entities, but they are. They were.
They were.
Yeah, for a while there. Good long time. Good, like, 40 years.
Yeah, if you want to do like an intro to the Player's Handbook, this sounds good.
Cool, because there's tons of lore that you require before jumping in, actually, for the universe.
Otherwise, you wouldn't know.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you don't know anything.
I know.
So, yeah, Mark doesn't know anything.
Nothing. Greg knows pretty much everything.
I know a lot of it. Yeah.
So this is a good combo to review these games and this story. Me and Greg are gonna switch spots here. You can drive.
Yeah.
Yep. Put the game up so you guys can actually see what we're doing.
So, also, for those watching, we do have the remastered edition of Brood War. However, we cannot, for whatever odd, esoteric reason, Mark's computer doesn't like the HD graphics.
Right.
It makes it... What's the clip, I guess? Visually clip, almost?
Yeah, it just flickers.
Yeah, black.
Yeah.
But we've had
we're
very
not going
few...
to subject you to that.
Yep, it'll be a lot easier to watch. As well as you'll get a sense... It'll be kind of cool to get a sense of the original graphics and all the original audio as well, and the original voice acting.
Right.
And the original cinematics. And then hopefully we'll be able to upgrade to the remastered, but maybe we'll even do like a back and forth sort of thing. You can change it in real time.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can just change it in the settings, and it immediately, you don't have to reboot or anything. Alright, so, I'm going to start with the StarCraft lore primer as presented.
Can you hand me my phone?
In the original StarCraft.
Alright.
This is different than what will eventually happen to the lore. Keep in mind. Okay, so we're going to start with the Terrans. Long story short, Earth goes bottom up around the mid-20... like...
The whole planet
just
goes bottom up.
No, things go bad. Technology, like all the doomsday scenarios with technology kind of happen, right? There's a whole ton of cybernetic enhancements and mutations happening in the population. That splits all of humanity up into these different things. To avoid complete extinction, we finally kind of come under this one Earth government, the UPL, United Powers League, successor to the UN. They're like a kind of... enlightened socialist, but actually fascist thing, right? That's going to control everything to kind of keep everyone the same. We have universal language and currency and all this jazz. So while, on one hand, technology and humanity begins to survive and we're able to spread out to the stars, we also have this extremely fascist government that is kind of all-controlling and over it. There's a few purges, and one of these purges, particularly like the purity of human form, is super important. So mutants and people that are overly cybernetic get rounded up and executed in the hundreds of millions, and a small group so a lot of them get rounded up and executed, but obviously there's some time where they have the prisoners, and one particular dude, I forget his name, it's not important, decides that he discovers some very, very high concentration. I love that the resources are part of the lore. He finds some very high concentration valuable minerals and gases at the edge of the galaxy.
Yeah.
And decides if he can colonize these areas first, he's going to become, the richest man in the world, and yada yada yada.
Sounds about right.
So he pulls some strings, and he gets I think 50,000 of these prisoners, these political prisoners, puts them into cryosleep, puts them on these giant arcs, and sends them off to this planet to hopefully colonize them, and he'll be able to get all the stuff the colony send back, and then yada yada yada.
Sure.
Something fails in transit. They don't go where they're supposed to be going. We have faster than light speed technology. They end up crash landing on 3 different planets in God knows where. They're supposed to travel for like 5 years. They go for 30. So they all crash land in the Caprulu sector, which is where Starcraft takes place.
The Capulu sector?
Caprulu.
Caprulu.
Yes, Copurulu. That's too many U's. Caprulu.
K-U-R-U-P-U-L-O-U.
No, K-O. Coprulu.
Coprulu.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, the Caprulu sector.
Nice.
Okay, so the Terrans crash land there. They all wake up. They realize they're no one knows where they are. Right? Earth doesn't know where they are. They have no way to communicate back to Earth because of the crash landing. They have these arcs that have all this like colonial stuff with them, so they're able to kind of spread out and survive. But so they're out in the middle of nowhere on the rim, and they all form governments. Each one, there's 3 of them, 3 planets. Each one crashes. A little bit of stuff in here that. There's 3 kind of unique Terran factions. The only one we really have to worry about is the biggest one, most prosperous one, landed on the place with most resources and had the best ship, least damage, named Tarsonis. And they eventually turn into the Confederacy, the Terran Confederacy. And that is like the big, as the Empire, basically. They are the big Terran force in the Caprulu sector. There's 2 other smaller ones, but they're not important. The Confederacy is kind of the main one. They turn out to be pretty much, I mean, it's all like criminals, mutants, and cyber people. So the government's pretty corrupt there as well. So the Confederacy is not a good place to be. They have, I think, a dozen new worlds under the Confederacy.
Interesting.
And the one thing you should know about that is that the Confederacy, as it's been growing, there was one planet particularly called Korhal. It's a very populous and important kind of a jewel of the burgeoning Confederacy. Rebels against their rule because of all the aforementioned bad things about Confederacy rule. And the leader is named Augustus Mensk. And he's a senator, and he's able to kind of... he's the first planet that ever declares independence from the Confederacy. In response, he and his whole family get assassinated.
Whoa.
And then Korhal is subjected to 1,000, literally 1,000, exactly 1,000 nuclear warheads from Tarsonis.
Oh
so
my gosh.
Korhal is obliterated. It's the first kind of exterminatus level destruction.
Wow.
Now,
to be clear, all of this is in the user manual.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, every word. I'm actually condensing it quite a bit. I apologize. This is going to be way longer than I thought it was going to be. Because I still have to do Zerg and Protoss.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Those 2 are pretty close, actually, though. So.
All right.
So Korhal is destroyed. Mensk actually had a son, however, an estranged son who was out prospecting in the rims, named Arcturus.
Classic.
Who you might have heard of. Never heard that name?
Nope.
No? Okay. Well, there's he takes over the rebellion, and the largest, there's still a group, they're called terrorists by the state media, but they're freedom fighters and rebelling against the Confederacy for their brutal regime, named the Sons of Korhal. And younger Mensk, is the leader of this group.
Okay.
And that's all you got. That is the entirety of it. So Terrans are completely cut off from Earth, and they've kind of grown out of these kind of backwater planets, and the Confederacy is the big bad one. The Sons of Korhal are a rebel group with a bad reputation.
Okay.
All right.
So even within the Terran, there's like kind of warring factions.
Oh yeah, there's all kind of there's pirate forces. It's kind of it's very much a Wild West kind of with space Wild West thing that they've done here, with the Confederacy being really the only big huge power. There's another one called the Kelmorian Combine, which is like the mining guilds, so like an economic power, and then there's the Umojan Protectorate, which is a single planet with independent government that doesn't do anything to not take anyone off, and the Confederacy lets them just be over there, and
right.
They're no threat. So yeah, that's it for the Terrans. Also, to note, humans are beginning to be the very, very early stages of showing psionic potential. So some of those mutations are psychics, being able to move things, or communicate with their minds, or move things with their mind.
Right.
That's just beginning in the species, and all of the people that were stripped off to Prulu were the mutants who had some of those genes. Right. So there's a way higher level of people who have those psychic genes the psychic genes in the Caprulu Terrans.
Okay.
Cool. Moving on. Are you ready for one more? Or should we...
Yes, I think so. I mean, is it one more or is it two more?
It's like 1.5 more.
Okay, alright, let's do it.
Because the story kind of overlaps between the two.
You're gonna have to remind me of like most of these names.
100%. We'll start with the Xel'Naga. Okay, XEL and AGA.
What race are they?
They're the Xel'Naga. That's the race.
Oh dear.
Yep. So these are the classic trope of the ancient aliens that are gone now that put everything into motion.
Yep.
So these are the ancient ones who had, complete rule over the galaxy. They're super mythological now. They're ruins and prophecies and all of this jazz.
Sure.
So they were real. They were this race. They were peaceful. They were scientists and primarily concerned with life and evolving, seeding life. They seeded life in the galaxy, right? Wow. They're like the grand architects of all life, and they would uplift different species and try to direct their evolution to get them to the perfect life form. This is what they were obsessed with. Now, the first one they tried was on a planet called Aiur, which is a jungle planet, and the Protoss would eventually be known as they were called the Firstborn because the Xel'Naga were that's what those Xel'Naga considered their first success, to develop sentience, to develop. Okay. There'd been tons of life that just brought it up, but they'd never gotten a fully self-aware cultural creation. By the way, the humans have no interaction with the Xel'Naga. They're not a Xel'Naga creation. The Xel'Naga did uplift the Protoss, and they kind of. It's vague about what uplift means. It says they kind of directed their evolution and had kind of this proto-genetic magic that they were able to, help lead kind of secretly from afar, help direct the Protoss into becoming fully formed sentient beings.
Sure.
The Protoss, unfortunately, and particularly they actually talk about, the Xel'Naga do talk about this thing called purity of form. So they said the Protoss have this kind of purity of structure that sets them above all their other creations. That, of course, leads them to eventually become conscious. Again, it's very kind of unclear what purity of form means, but that's what it says.
Sure,
It's going to be important later. They eventually fall into infighting and tribalism as they become more and more technologically sound, and eventually they begin rejecting national unity, and they begin rejecting the Xel'Naga themselves, and becoming really violent, and the whole culture is kind of collapsing. The Xel'Naga say, okay, this was a failure, actually. And they desert the planet. They leave they'd gotten to the point where they'd come down and actually lived amongst their creations, and were helping kind of foster society. They decide, nope, sorry, this didn't work. You guys are the worst. We pushed you too far too fast. You had this conflict of essence. You didn't have a clear enough identity, and so you have this perfect form but no perfect essence, and so this form has fractured off and into all these different groups, and you're killing each other and you're rejecting us, so bye. So they leave. That turns into full on. That's like the last straw. The Protoss fall into what they call the Aeon of Strife. Everything goes to shit. They very nearly drive themselves to extinction and are saved by a Protoss whose name you don't have to remember. His name was Kos. But he basically begins preaching. One thing that they had happen upon being uplifted was the whole race has a communal psychic link amongst them, so they can kind of communicate telepathically, and they're also super psionic, super powerful psionic creatures. But they have this communal link that allows them to feel and experience, the same thing of their Protoss around them. And as they began devolving, they began to stop doing that. That link eventually gets to the point where it's entirely forgotten. So the way that kind of brings it back is there's this dude who rediscovers some ancient Xel'Naga text that talks about this communal link that the Protoss have, and he's like, oh, if we can tap back into this, maybe we can reform society.
Interesting.
Long story short, it works. They call this is actually basically space Buddhism. They call it the Kala, the Eightfold Path. Literally.
Yeah, wow.
Isn't that just what Buddhism talks about? Or the eight?
There's a something-fold path.
Yeah,
I don't know what the number is.
I'm pretty sure it's the Eightfold Path for the Kala, or something path.
Sure.
It's a idea of spiritual and personal letting go and giving yourself into something greater than you, and it successfully heals Protoss tribalism, and the society comes back together kind of from the brink. They become the de facto rulers of the galaxy, with a very, 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 very strict, rigid. The Kala is very strict and rigid in terms of what you can and can't do to maintain this level of coherency.
Sure.
And bring us back from the brink. No more tribes. There's castes. There's 3 castes. There's a ruling caste, a military caste, and everyone else.
Huh. Okay.
But that kind of works for now.
Huh.
Right. So that's where and they kind of ascend, like I said, into the de facto rulers of the galaxy. They have a really sacred thing called De'ul, which is called the Great Stewardship, which means that they see their role as being able to protect all life but not interfere with it. And so that's it.
Okay.
That's the Protoss. So I guess it is kind of 2 more.
Oh my gosh. I was like, when did the Zerg come into this 1.5 more times?
Alright, so the Zerg are where the Xel'Naga after the Protoss. They fail. They're like, crap, we messed up. We're going to try again.
We're going to try way worse.
Yeah, yeah, basically. Well, I think should do way better in some ways. So they reach, they find a world called Xeris, which is an ash world, volcanic. And they find the smallest, most insignificant life form. They thought that, the Protoss were too prideful, and that was their fall. So they wanted to find this very, very simple life form and uplift that had a very pure essence to it. Again, unclear what that means, but essence is important. Okay?
Right. I got it.
So they take like a worm thing, like a little insect, and they begin letting it survive in areas that it shouldn't survive, and again, kind of like fostering its growth. And these worms begin implanting themselves into other creatures and taking over their nervous system, and within a few generations are able of, reproduction, these creatures have changed their entire evolutionary path into something resembling what we eventually learn to be the Zerg. Right? So it's this hive, it's an insective hive mind that begins forming up from all these different kind of psionically infused worms, which are the original Zerg, and they begin taking over different species, right, and assimilating them, and then over time they begin, within like 2 or 3 generations, they've changed from what they originally were and are now like Zergified. Right. So every single species of the Zerg used to be something else that the swarm has like taken and assimilated, and like changed into be like Zergy, which is like spiky and killy and scary and insectoid.
Right.
Okay. Now the Xel'Naga are super excited about this. They're like, holy, like it's taking off and it's like, taking over the whole planet. It's like a super successful life form. Because when has that ever not gone well? And they're like, oh god, this is going so well.
Yeah.
So much better than the Protoss.
It's spreading faster than we ever expected. This is great.
By itself. So they're not, there's no alarm bells going off apparently at any point here for the Xel'Naga.
Amazing.
They create an overmind. They're like, oh, the problem with the Protoss was that they all had individual sentience, right? And so they were able to all have these different ideas and be tribal. So with the Zerg, we're going to just put them all into one thing.
Okay.
Called the overmind, which is this gestalt, personality that's able to control the entirety of the swarm all at once.
Right.
And that was the way that they were going to make sure, so now they can only control one thing. So now they have this perfect essence where it's always... the form isn't perfect necessarily. They're not psionic at all, but they have this purity of identity, basically, right? And that there is no identity. That everything gets consumed and is brought into the swarm.
Right.
And the Overmind, I mean, long story short, pretty much what you think happens, right? Like the Overmind decides that it needs to keep on. It's taken over all of Xeris and decides it needs to keep on growing and evolve and become more and more, because that's like all it ever has been. And that's its purpose, is to become like the perfect life form. And so they manage to find something, they become spacefaring, and then pretty quickly they find the Xel'Naga and their ships above Xeris.
By the way, how do they become spacefaring?
So there was that's a good question. They actually talk about that in the booklet.
I just can't picture like a Zerg mechanic, right? Like,
yeah.
He's got like his overalls and his wrench.
They lured a spacefaring, a naturally void-based entity that survives in space.
Interesting.
And lured it down to the planet with like psychic emanations, and then consumed those and integrated them to the swarm.
Wow. Okay.
So they're called Leviathans. We'll see some of those actually that are these things that can survive in space. Right. So once that happened, it was pretty much game over. The Overmind severs its link with the Xel'Naga have been keeping an eye on it psychically, right? Mm-hmm. Severs the link. They're like, uh-oh, that seems bad. And the greater entirety of the entire Xel'Naga race is consumed by the Zerg.
Oh my goodness.
And integrated into them. And that's the last we hear of the Xel'Naga, actually.
Okay.
So the Zerg have consumed the entirety of the Xel'Naga, and from them, they've learned about the Protoss. So they've learned about the other most powerful kind of species that the Xel'Naga have uplifted.
Right.
And they become obsessed. So the Overmind becomes obsessed with finding the Protoss and consuming it. It thinks until it consumes the Protoss, it will never be perfect.
Okay.
because that's the other most powerful creation of Xel'Naga.
Right.
And there's basically going to be a reckoning eventually of which one's going to be which. To tie this all together, the Zerg have been looking for the Protoss. They can't find them. Particularly, it's worried about the fact that Protoss are really strong psychics, and there's no psychics in the Zerg.
Right.
But they just so happen to find this burgeoning psychic race at the edge of Protoss space.
Humans.
Yep, exactly. So that's the setup for why all three of these are going to be fighting.
Okay.
Is the Zerg find the humans, and they see a perfect race to assimilate to make a weapon against the Protoss.
Right.
The Protoss are in exploratory, they have just like patrols going around space to make sure everything's going well.
Right.
And they find, in some of their just natural patrolling, they find some Zerg matter, and they recognize it to be basically the crystals, the Protoss crystals. Those are like Xel'Naga crystals. They're just psychically infused. That's what like the tools of Xel'Naga used for everything. Basically, the Zerg matter reacts to these crystals, which means it was made with those crystals too. So they see, holy crap, there's something else that Xel'Naga made, and so they see the Zerg is extremely dangerous, and they see the Zerg coming down on these humans, and that's pretty much where we start.
Okay.
So there's an exploratory fleet, an expeditionary fleet of the Protoss that's in the Kapulu sector that discovers the Zerg. They're communicating back and forth with Ire. Ire says, "This is bad. Kill everything." And the Protoss captain or executor named Tassadar is in command. The Terrans don't know what's going on. They're just getting attacked by two alien races out of the blue, and the Zerg are trying to assimilate the Terrans to make a weapon for the Protoss.
Sure. Okay.
There we go.
Cool.
That's it.
I think we're ready. Well, with that, we can
now we can play the game.
I am going to go ahead and adjust some things real quick here on the screen, just so we don't have a red screen this whole time.
And I believe as well the first world has already been destroyed. So the Zerg have infested a world of the Terrans called Chapsara, and the Protoss have come and glassed it entirely.
Okay.
It's already too far gone, so they kill everyone. So to the Terrans, the Protoss just appeared and destroyed a world. That's all. Right? Because they didn't know they were infested by Zerg yet.
Oh, sure.
Like the Zerg
so
infest on like a
much more
microscopic
destructive than they actually are, basically.
And the Protoss have jumped away. And Tassadar, who destroyed the Terran world, feels pretty bad about the fact that he killed a bunch of Terrans.
Yeah.
He's beginning to question his orders.
Okay, so go ahead and hit 3.
And here we go.
3 on the number.
3.
Cool.
Alrighty. Thank you for indulging. Okay, so again, I just want to bring one thing I've been thinking about is the reasons for all three of these people to be fighting. Pretty darn clear, right?
Yep.
Cool. We'll see if that continues to be true as the series continues. Here we go. First episode is the Terrans.
In the decades since the end of the Gulf Wars, the oppressive Terran Confederacy has stood unchallenged in its supremacy over colonized space. All of that changed 4 days ago when a large alien fleet emerged from warp space and laid waste to the unsuspecting Confederate colony of Chowsara. Is that how that's said?
Yep.
The Confederacy, fearing that the alien fleet's next target will be the colony of Marsara, has sent you to intervene. Acting as magistrate, you are to safeguard the colonists and keep their state of panic from escalating any further.
The other interesting thing that StarCraft 1 is going to do, which is you actually have a player character.
Wow, that's timed?
Apparently.
They timed that so well.
They did.
Okay.
We're not going to play boot camp. Can we skip this? Go away.
Oh, no.
Can we not?
I hope we don't have to.
That's too bad.
Skip tutorial on the left.
Oh, thank you. There we go. Thank you.
So, you miss it because it was a large button.
Yeah. Fair enough. So we're on Marsara, which is the sister planet to Chaucer. So here we go.
Good evening, Magistrate. I'll fill you in on what's been happening. Confederate traffic has increased substantially within the system due to the recent Protoss destruction of the Chowsar colony. The Confederates have tightened security on all outlying systems, and it's likely that this colony will be locked down as well. An encrypted Confederate transmission came transmitted at dinner. Replaying transmission.
What was it, dinner?
I'm General Edmund Gerg of the Confederate Security Forces Outer Squad. The Confederacy has quarantined the entire planet. We'll proceed with a lockdown within 48 hours. You're to relocate your core colonists to the outlying wastelands. Now I know there won't be any problems with these new arrangements.
Transmission ended. Contact I've contacted the local marshal, James Rayner.
Rayner, I know Rayner.
Jimmy!
Personnel en route and escort them to the new wasteland site.
So already, just take note of the music, the color palette, the fact that the adjutant appears to be this horrible human cyborg slave.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know where we are right now, but this is just kind of our, like, communications room in our house, I guess.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty bad, right?
It doesn't look good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Okay.
You know, I think the audio is a little quiet, so I'm gonna switch that real quick. Cool. 1 second here, don't click any further.
Oh, we didn't watch the opening cinematic. It doesn't have anything to do with anything, but it sets the mood really well.
Yeah, we'll call that good. That's good. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yes, that's true. I actually already watched the opening cinematic, but we did not show that on stream. We can always go back and watch it.
Alrighty, here we go. We got our Marines, our SCVs. So these are the civilians, and these are our fearless Marines. Marines are criminals that have been re-socialized, like neurologically, to be perfectly obedient.
Howdy, boys. Howdy, boys. How's your brains parts? Marshal these parts.
Nice. Did they get the same guy to play his voice?
Oh, yeah.
In
Almost everyone is identical from Starcraft 1 to 2. One notable exception is Kerrigan. We got Jimmy. Note his appearance.
Interesting.
What was that? So we got this bizarre skeleton out in the wilderness. We have the marshal on a jet bike.
Yo, what the heck?
We're gonna put down a widow mine here, which didn't really work. Alright, fine, let's go. Look at all the blood, especially in terms of the amount of screen it takes up.
Amount of screen?
Yeah, just relative to the percentage of the screen that was an explosion of blood right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, not negligible, right? Like, maybe a 2%.
Yeah, decent amount of.
Just gotta get all of our boys down here.
Oh, then we can start building a base, yeah?
Yep, here we go. Oh, this music is so good.
I don't think you told them to do anything.
Yeah, actually, I just want to make sure, whatever. Build a barracks. That's it, no? Interesting. So, like, this is also interesting in that it literally just gave me the minerals. Mine, you fools. We also have our counts down here. Kill count, rank.
Nice.
So
they can rank up?
Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean anything.
Right,
But they can. Yeah.
I wonder if they had plans to have it mean something originally.
Unclear. So you can see this even projectile. This is a vulture, which has a little bit of AoE to it, but is slower. So it's harder to hit Zerglings. Got one. The Zerglings are moving. Got it. Oh, I need a barracks at 150. Yes, we do. Now, I believe in StarCraft 1, full saturation is going to be 2 SCVs per mineral patch, if not 3. So in this case, it would be, I think it's going to be 12 for this place. And it is worth investing in SCVs first, as opposed to just staying on these to make everything else go faster. Your buildings are always going to have, note the portrait. This was a big deal for this time period.
Yeah.
We had 3D portraits of your 2D characters. Yes, Jimmy. And now we see the power of micro and macro, which is... I have enough. Barracks time. Tear and build buildings one at a time. One SCV on one building until it's done. Can't do anything else. Terran buildings also can lift off. go land somewhere else, except for supply depots, which are very annoying. And they also, if reduced to the red, will burn down over time, as opposed to any other structure. So if you get a Terran building to 0, it'll light on fire, or to the red health,
yeah.
it'll light on fire and actually continually go down.
What do you think the best place is for our frame over there?
I don't know.
Just wondering if...
On your lap?
No, I mean the picture of us. I don't want to
Oh,
get
the
away
frame.
with things.
Oh, I'd say it's over this, right here, bottom right. I don't need to see these commands.
Okay, cool. That's where it is.
Yep. This is unknown. And we're also going to need a supply depot soon. No, you can, my friend. Also note you cannot set a rally point for the command center for your workers on a mineral
Yeah,
patch.
that's too bad. That's what I would really like that.
Which, no, wait, maybe you can. Just kidding.
Look
at that, worked.
Huh.
Good stuff. So now we just have to train 5 Marines.
What are the, in the top left, or on the mini-map, the top left of the mini-map,
Yes.
what is that?
Ah, train.
Oh.
You just turn off all of the underlying stuff just to make it a little bit clearer where all the units are.
Sure, okay.
And that's it.
Is there
Alright.
another button that shows up there at some point?
Timer, I believe.
Okay.
Jacked up and good to go. So, in case you didn't know, Mark, this was originally going to be a Warhammer 40k game.
Uh-huh.
Or very close to it. Nowadays, they probably wouldn't have been able to get away with this. With copyright laws.
Huh.
But, so this is very much a Blizzard's take on 40k
Right.
at the beginning here. Which, if you don't know anything about 40k, it's a lot like this. Very grim, very
Right.
dark. Humans are not really the good guys. There's a lot of levels of gray. Right. And you can see a very, very simple first mission.
Yeah. This is pretty straightforward.
Extremely.
It's good, though. It eases you in.
Very much so.
The
As opposed to what I did to Mark.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, I still feel bad about that.
Oh, your
Jimmy!
boy,
Jimmy, no!
Boy's getting trashed by some Zerglings.
It's alright.
Jimmy!
Jimmy, no! This was interesting because I mined out that one mineral patch that I think I had been rallied to. They stopped.
Oh,
Rally.
sure, that makes sense. Wow. Done.
Mission 1, baby! Boom!
Killed it.
The unidentified.
655.
Oh yeah, and I love like my APM's 50. Woo!
Killing it.
Not bragging here. Unidentified creatures. It's unclear what those are.
Oh, interesting. So we don't know.
But we know from the Garm Brood. Oh yes. Oh, they got one. They got one. I didn't think they killed anyone.
Huh.
Whoopsies. So the classic scorched green after an RTS, right?
Yep.
Lost days. Look at the noble colonial marines. Office the colonial magistrates, Marsara.
Receiving incoming transmission. Comlink established.
What's up, man? Get your refugees.
What's up, man?
Just tucked in nice and tight. You can sidestep any more surprises from our Confederate friends. Away from those critters. They should have an easy time.
Other than the alien race we've encountered.
Those critters.
Distress beacon activated at 0658. Alerting Confederate headquarters on Dash 6. Stand by for incoming transmission.
We've already received the distress beacon from Band 1, and we'll take care of it. You just sit tight. You'll be notified if there's anything we think you...
Where's the fourth guy? The fourth
Yeah.
guy's gotta pop in. No, we've got it.
Yes.
Stations. That's stations. I'll head out there now. To sit in some militia. You sit in some militia. And we'll save those folks. Trust me.
Okay. So you can already tell, right? This is where this happens. There's going to be some dialogue during the missions, but the 90% of the lore here is going to be in the in-between.
Oh, yeah.
This screen.
Yeah.
And it'll look different for each race, but it's literally going to be 4 talking heads, and text. And it's just context for a mission, right? Very minimal, pretty straightforward. You already have, you can see the ways they're trying to make Jim Raynor a everyman, friendly, kind of get along with this guy, doing the right thing.
Get along with this guy.
The Confederates are already the man, right? Jimmy doesn't take nothing from the man. He's a marshal.
Right.
The Wild Wild West. And Duke
if we wait for reinforcements, we're doomed.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to take things into our own hands.
I don't want to.
They're gonna take matters into their own hands.
So yeah, right. Time to kick some serious butt, right? Like, heck yeah, I want to kick some serious butt with Jim, the cool dude.
Me and Jim are kicking butt today.
Yeah, he's got like a friggin' rocket launcher on a hover bike. Like, it's so cool, right? So I think one thing I do want to underlie is that I don't want to just kind of circle jerk StarCraft 1 more so than it needs to be, right? It is. I think the story is very, very good, but it's not good in all of the ways that I think people would expect from a story today. So the reason it's so good, I would maintain, is a lot of the confused circles. A lot of the bedrock level kind of character stuff that happens, as opposed to the presentation, or as opposed to the amount of lore, or the depth necessarily, which StarCraft 2 is going to do much better. You'll eventually see, but we'll see the stuff that is presented is pretty darn impressive in a lot of ways.
All right.
Even though it is kind of like young and simple and rudimentary in a lot of ways. So this is interesting. This guy did not rally automatically. Are you mining? Good.
Unclear.
Yeah. You want to take the next one?
Sure. I'm gonna step out for a second.
No problem. I will keep the people entertained.
Electrify the boys.
By building a refinery. 2 types of resources. We got gas, we got minerals. Minerals. Why isn't this working? Set the rally. Minerals can get. Oh, we supply block? No, we're not. What even are my objectives right here? Raynor must survive and kill everything. Great. There's another thing this game does well, which is going to be multiple types of elevation, which is a semi-interesting thing for a game at this point, which was, for an RTS anyway, which was changing line of sight for, oh boy, I actually might need a lot of these. We don't really even need one in gas right now, but if something is up on the ground, see how it's black? Can't see anything. We won't be able to see anything until we go up here. And now we can see everything at the top, right? But if we go down, we suddenly can no longer see what's shooting at us. As opposed to being at the top of somewhere, being able to shoot down, you have perfect vision. That looks not nice. There's gotta be a second base we can get, right? There better be. Oh, my lordy! Well. I'm going to not use excellent macro in terms of technically making one unit at a time, which is what you're supposed to do. I am going to queue things up because I am not a StarCraft pro. But fortunately, it will not be required to beat this game. Bunker! Yay! Oh good, second base. Oh, fire bats. Cool. So, new unit, doesn't say anything. These are one of the most terrifying unit portraits that's ever been made for an RTS game, I would maintain. Are you doing anything right? Come on, boys. Good. Marines. And pretty soon, actually not you, we're going to need some new supply depots. As you might notice, ground cover is actually, the buildings are actually quite large, right? A supply depots are roughly the same size as barracks, which is roughly the same size as the command center. So ground space is actually very important to use efficiently down here. And basically we're not going to need anything anymore down here. So we set you up top. I cannot use this as a... Wait, are you going to go... Oh, crap. Did I not capture you? Why can't I use you? There we go. And there's the academy. Good. So we found a new base, which is important. Take note of how much ground cover matters here, particularly for supply depots.
Alright, seems like we're out of minerals.
Almost. So we found this little base up here, killed some more Zerg, killed a creep colony for the first time, and the creep disappeared.
Colony?
Yes, it used to be right there.
Oh, nice.
That anus in the ground.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we got fire bats as well, which is one of the most disturbing uniportraits I think that's ever been made.
What the heck?
Yep.
What is a fire bat?
They just have flamethrowers attached to their arms.
So they're pretty much Lucifers from...
Yes, from... I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they were hoping would happen, like, decades later. They'd be compared to a little no-name game that no one cares about.
Good.
So we got a lot of Zerglings here. Seems scary. What I'm going to do is... So Jimmy is a vulture, and he does things called spider mines. He's got 3 of them, it seems. They plant. And then
you aggro everybody.
Yeah, see, in that case, that was the worst possible thing that could have happened. Because I aggroed one when I wanted to aggro all of them.
Right, and then you blow up your own unit.
And they do have, so they pop up and then run towards the enemy, right? So they're not just an immediate mine. So they can be actually fooled and out-microed.
Interesting.
And then killed on their way, right? They have health bars.
Wow.
And they also do splash damage. So yes, let's see if I can get this right this time. There we go. See? Pop.
Nice.
Also, apparently these Zerglings are glitching, which is lovely. And bye-bye. Cool. So, we got plenty of minerals. Just queue up all the Marines. You keep on building supply depots, one at a time. You seem to not be doing anything. Have no one in gas, because why would we need gas? Oh yeah, this is one of the... So everything has a sound effect when you click on it, right? And then we have the Academy.
Nope. That's the sound effect for the Academy?
Yeah.
What the heck? Why?
I don't know. I think it's supposed to be going more towards the grim darkness, right? Where, like, whatever's happening, these scientific things are happening in the... Oh, that's interesting. Whatever the horrible things are happening in the Academy. So the Academy has... also keep on breaking down some of the Terran tech tree here for you. We got an engineering bay that I'm about to build. That just has, like, the armor and attack upgrades.
That's when your woman really is into, like, math and no.
That was good.
Construction.
Yeah, that was good. Do people still say bay?
They do.
Cool.
I think so.
I might have damned this SCV.
Oh
Yep.
no, he's stuck.
Sure is.
Yeah, he's stuck.
That's it.
Does he go to the next unit or the next level when you finish?
What do you mean? Like, do I keep everything that
Yeah,
I...
the units roll over.
Nope. No. So in this case, I'm just going to keep on building Marines. In fact, I'm going to kill you if I can. No, he won't be able to reach him, will he? Alright, not worth it. I probably already have way more than enough Marines, honestly, for, like, mission 1 here. Uh-oh.
Ooh, that's not great. I don't know why that's happening. Move your flank right there.
I think it's because I selected that many Marines. Yep. Or maybe it's just this one. No. Interesting. That's the exact flickering problem we had on the...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we also have 2 more barracks right here.
You have a lot of barracks here.
LOL. Fire bats? Why not?
They're really called fire bats.
Yeah. You know, like those fiery bats they used to? So we got Marine attack range at the Academy, which I don't have enough gas for, because I'm a nerd. Normally refineries will be way closer.
Yeah.
So everything's just kind of terrifying in this game, right? Like, this wouldn't be a game that I would have wanted my mom seeing me playing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, or hearing about.
Yeah, it does seem to appeal to the more mature 40K audience, right? Not like 10-year-olds.
Not really kids, it seems.
No.
Yeah. What is that noise?
I don't know. It's. And the thing is,
Uh-oh.
Oh, it was crazy.
Fascinating. Wonder why that did it.
The thing is, I have heard that sound effect.
Have you? Where?
In context.
Oh.
It was at a. It was in a dubstep song.
Oh,
Like
really?
that sound effect is actually used a fair amount.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, it's super strange.
So firebats have very little range, but have AoE damage, more armor than
Are they
Marines.
good against buildings specifically?
Nah. No, this is the other thing, right? Damage is damage is damage. So we got 16 damage on here. It'll do 16 points of health damage to whatever it hits.
Right.
Now, the modifier to that is armor. So 1 armor minus 1 damage.
Right.
That's it. So 6 damage, 0 armor. Take full damage.
Do they have a fire rate though? Is that always
That's-
damage per second?
Nope, that's per shot.
Yeah, but what's the fire rate?
No, it doesn't. I don't know. What do you think? Doesn't say.
Okay.
So no, there's no DPS, no effective damage, just the amount per attack,
Okay.
which is important. Oh, good. Finally getting gas. And so in multiplayer, so it's really interesting. The infantry weapon is just +1 to most units. So it doesn't seem like a whole lot. The difference was in multiplayer, the difference between 3 shots of a Marine to kill a Zerg versus 4 shots to kill a Zerg was gigantic, right?
Right.
Or a Zergling. And so these upgrades actually meant a ton for the multiplayer scene.
Right.
So fully upgraded, even though it'd only be like +3 damage, that's per shot, and Marines have a high rate of fire. Hydralisks. Again, very little, you can see some of the pathing problems here. I told them all to attack that Hydralisk. Only 2 did.
And they didn't.
Yeah, I already talked about the fact that there is high ground and low ground. At least we have auto attacks, that's nice. I never use fire bats, so I'll try using them here. Just don't seem worth it, in my opinion.
Because they always put their faces in danger.
Because they literally have to be almost in melee range.
Right.
Yeah. And they don't seem to kill stuff faster than a... I mean, what do they do? 16? So that's almost 3 shots from a Marine. But they're also slow. So our objective is just to kill everything. Also, they explode when they die. In case you didn't notice that. Oh, good. Good stim. That's almost done. Just really keep on building shit. No, I'm not macroing well. And we have enough supply depots to be fine. And you can really learn a lot about each unit and kind of the ideas behind each one via just what they say, the way they say it. I haven't been using Jimmy at all. Oh, there it is. That's why.
Ooh.
Wow, really? That's the only... Is this... Can we get up here? No. Where's the... There it is. Jimmy. No, not my forces. So, we talked about firing from up here.
Oh,
so
yeah,
of course, a lot better.
That's nice.
You have perfect vision down. Bases seem to be the... See, fire bats blow up when they die. What the heck is happening here? Should we play in a window?
It's probably not a bad idea.
Let's see if we can't finish up. So in this case, we got 1, so now there's 6 plus 1 for damage, right?
Oh,
So
sure.
literally just going to be doing 7 a shot. But, like I said, in multiplayer, makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
For kiting, because right, it'd be like... It'd be... that motion, right?
Right. Can you move your camera?
Yeah,
So
sorry,
we'll fix
sorry.
that.
Yeah. And all my fire bats are dead already, right?
Yeah,
Against,
right.
like, a nominal
not
amount.
that many enemies,
No,
right?
not really. Especially against Zerg, which is, like, only ranged. Like, super not worth it. Might, man. Must be the creep, maybe? Yeah, it is. The creep when the creep colony dies, we're fine.
Oh no.
What the hell?
It simulated the command center?
Infested command center, yes. So this is actually a multiplayer unit. There's a unit in the Zerg called the Defiler, or no, the Queens, that can infest command centers, just Terran command centers. These can produce infested Terrans, which are just walking bombs, suicide units.
Interesting.
Yep. So that is a thing. Also, the command book or the manual is
Receiving incoming transmission.
Marshal Ray, destroying my vital Confederate installation. You and your men have
What?
colonial law.
we destroyed a Confederate line.
As of right now, you're all under arrest. I suggest you throw down your weapons and come peaceably. You're out of your mind. We have burned that damn conquer this entire colony. Maybe if you want to take this time and get there. Ask the first time, boy, I didn't come here to talk to you.
Can't move right now.
Yes, you would be a Confederate if you wanted to.
Tell him, Jimmy. Tell that upscaled Southern Confederate. I mean, he's a Confederate.
Yeah, right.
It's just the Confederacy. Dude, I just realized that.
It's
That's sad.
That Georgian plantain.
Yeah, exactly.
Owner.
Yeah. So yeah, we're in trouble now. Also,
So
apparently, we know there's Zerg.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like how they make all of the different inter-faction wars plausible.
Yeah.
Right, the only one that doesn't make sense to me yet is Zerg vs. Zerg.
Yep.
But Terran vs. Terran makes sense.
Already.
Protoss vs. Protoss, that's already happened.
Stuff in the lore. Yep.
Yeah. Zerg vs. Zerg, nothing yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yep. Not yet. But you have seen different broods.
That's true.
It's been made aware of. And I forget if the. Yeah, I don't think I'll leave that for the Zerg campaign. We'll get more insight into the way Zerg hive structures work and the
Okay.
chain of command, and there's more than just the Overmind.
Okay, interesting.
But he's the the very top, or it's at the very top, rather. Also note, this will be important for later. It's very unclear how the Zerg assimilate something. Right?
Yeah.
What do they need? How much of that creature? Do they just need one creature? Do they need a little bit of DNA, and then they put it into their pool?
Right.
Do they have to eat something? Do they have to consume an entire species? How much of that species?
Right.
So
Yeah,
on and so forth.
that is unclear.
What does that mean? That's actually going to be a problem for the entire campaign and the entire game.
Oh,
But keep that in the back of your mind.
sounds like they never really make it clear.
Nope. And it's not important yet. Right now, it's just, hey, if we get to the Protoss homeworld,
I'm gonna grab my
then we're good. Ah, yes. Such a strange cutscene.
It's supposed to give you a nice Western vibe.
Southern.
Western, Southern.
So I like the idea of retro sci-fi stuff, right? Space. But so the S word in a T-rated game. Dobra.
Looks like you mashed some poor fella's dog. Sorry.
That is a dog?
It's a Zergman, mister. Smaller type of Zerg. They got this far and left. Oh shit.
Dang.
So
That was symbolic of their souls.
what the right? Like what the as a modern viewer,
Receiving
Like,
incoming
what the actual fuck, right? Like
I got your message.
what's up?
I got your message, Magistrate. And frankly,
I don't care what you have to say about Confederate regulation.
damn friends,
Damn friend, well, your goods are all right. Don't know where your loyalties lie. Y'all have a real good head now.
Transmission ended. The report you requested is right. 16 outlying stations have reported sightings of the aim intimidators identified as Zerg.
How but
Confederates have arrested all standing military forces and continue to avoid action against the Zerg. 3 stations have fallen to the Zerg already, unable to locate any source of military relief except the extremist faction.
I love that a robot would pause for effect.
Yeah.
Is holding online.
Good day.
That's a good point.
My name is Arcturus.
My name is Arcturus Max, and I represent the Sons of
You're
Corvo.
familiar with the
You're familiar
propaganda
with Confederate propaganda surrounding
Your
reputation suggests you'll see past it.
It's never been our practice.
It's never been our practice to operate in any one place for long. But
Sir,
Zerg don't look like they're going to wait.
Voice acting was pretty good.
I'd like to help you out.
I'd like to help you out by sending down a number of transports to your colonies, evacuate any survivors. Of course, the organization operates outside the bounds of Confederate law. That's why they spread their lies and misinformation. If you decide to accept Brandon, you'll be Brandon is now going to, but it's a chance to save those. It's a chance to save those people.
Time to make a stand.
Time to make a stand, magistrate.
Ending transmission. Priority alert. Evacuation zones under attack by Zerg forces. Distress beacon activated at 12:20.
Okay, two things I want to call into stark relief here. This is mission 3, and we're already being asked to make a moral choice.
Interesting,
Right?
yeah.
We're already being told that we have to resist a government to do the right thing with a... I don't know, what was your sense of Minsk in your first interaction with him? Trustworthy?
Yeah, he seems pretty he seems like a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Except I know that he's like part of he like runs a group of outlaws, right? So I have to imagine that reputation comes from somewhere.
Well,
so I'm a little suspicious. He's got like somewhere between like friendly guy and like so friendly he's almost like cult leader.
Scary, yeah.
Yeah, so he's toward that direction, but right now I think he's pretty cool. Yeah.
And remember, he was the guy, the Sons of Korhal, the ones that got their whole planet nuked. They were the first rebels.
Right.
His family got murdered by the Confederacy and hung out on their balcony. Right. So that's him.
Yeah.
Arcturus. So anyway, so we already have a support coming from a questionable place that is gray by itself. Is it propaganda? Is it not? It probably is, because Duke, the guy from the Confederacy, seems like a dick.
Right.
Right. But even past that, and now we have people, we have civilians,
Right.
that we actually have to be thinking about. Right.
Yeah,
It's outside of the context of war. This is kind of a complete picture of what this little world might look like. Right.
Right.
And then the second thing is that the beginning had the adjutant saying that, like, hey, Duke says, hey, I got your message. So we actually have some player identity, which is really rare for an RTS. We're a magistrate, right? We're a Confederate. We're part of the Confederacy. We're an authority. So yeah, that's mission 3. Again, it has so little context and world building, and like that cutscene sucked, right? It's just like bad and stupid. There's nothing whatsoever. It's kind of darkly funny, right? That was just the reason they threw that in there.
Right.
Similar to 40K, very much so. Is this super gallows humor?
Yeah.
But this horrible take on American Southerners, like borderline racist, and then homophobic, and so super out of time cutscene. But then again, the bones, even though it's just talking pieces, in my opinion at least, tell me if you think I'm wrong. It's always the bones with repeat. Are actually quite good, quite mature.
Yeah.
Right, already in mission 3 of this gigantic campaign, we're thinking about the idea of a cause, the idea of politics, the idea of what's worth fighting for, and what priorities should be put in place for a population, and what responsibility we have. Right?
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it was targeted toward a very mature audience.
Yeah.
Done.
Alright, so now we got vultures as a unit.
Alright, let's send this SCV to repair
Yep,
this.
so you're going to have to hit repair, otherwise it's going to go inside. There you go.
Okay.
That's a bunker, right? You can hold.
Let's just start minerals for good.
Yes, always start with minerals. You're going to want probably like 20 of those.
Is he
Try
repairing?
again. No, click on him. Left click. There you go.
Alright, cool.
It's going to take minerals too, slowly.
Gotcha.
So you just have to survive for 30 minutes.
Oh, that should be easy. Is that going to be easy?
It will be.
Oh, really? Oh.
I think so. Also, an interesting thing.
Is it actually 20 minutes? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's actually 30 minutes.
That's pretty close to, like, those are actual seconds.
Yep.
I'm used to, like, accelerated game time.
Again, go to menu and options. Nope, you have to click menu.
You have to click. Oh wow.
Or F10. And the game speed would normally be all the way at the top.
You can turn it up. Should I turn it up for this mission?
No, you should not.
I'm not that good.
Not yet. But that's what it'll be in multiplayer, right?
Right.
So try again. I would had some success getting the rally point on the minerals
yeah.
patch.
Mixed success.
Yeah, so just have to right click it.
Should I just be clicking like in place to get my APM up?
No.
Pro.
Also note you have an upgrade, the ComSat down there.
Oh, nice. What's that good for?
That will allow you to just scan any area of the map, and it'll detect. It'll clear the map. It'll show you, give you vision as well as detect any hidden units. So burrow and stealth.
So it seems useful.
Extremely. You have no idea.
Seems
detection on demand.
Seems okay.
Because detection in this game, invisible things can attack, correct?
Okay, yeah.
So if you have an invisible unit, you have no detection, it will kill everything eventually.
Okay, so what happened to my ComSat? I thought it was here.
You didn't build it. Oh, yeah, because you've built a SCV, you have no more options on the building. It's going to be true of anything. If it's producing, then you don't.
So that's one of the reasons why you really don't want to queue.
That's part of it. Yeah.
You won't even see your options.
Yep.
Alright, let's get a ComSat up. We need gas.
You do.
We need
Now,
gas,
ComSat's also going to be
babies.
pretty low priority for you right now, right?
What is ComSat?
Yes,
It
because
is?
you don't really need a whole ton of vision.
I don't?
No, you're just defending.
Of course not. Of course I don't.
You don't have to scout the area, right? You can if you want, eventually, but...
Well, I
You just
want
have
to
to
get a
survive.
sense of where the choke points are.
That's true.
I want you to not give me any lip.
And a bunker can hold, I believe...
This is a bunker?
Yep.
Alright, so
So click on the bunker, see how much
we
can
want to
hold.
get some people in
I think
there.
you can hold, yeah, 4.
Wow, she's giving me
So-
so much lip.
Everyone's the worst, right?
Sir? Yeah. Oh, shoot.
So you probably want to draw those guys back, Marines and bunkers.
Yeah, to the bunker. Yeah, I didn't realize I had bunkers.
Yes,
This
sir.
is nice.
Your vultures, on the other hand, cannot.
bunker. That makes
So
sense.
they also have widow mines, but you have to research those.
Okay.
So you can see the grayed out widow mines.
Widow baby mines.
Yes.
Widow mines.
Yeah. Widow mines. So attack range on a bunker would be really good, right?
Yeah.
Marines in a bunker with attack range.
Oh, yeah. We want that. Where's the gas? Oh, there's the gas. Alright.
Where's the gas?
Alright, you're building
Top right.
that gas, though.
Gas that up.
Just make sure that
That gas. As well.
That gas.
You got a missile turret right there. That can only attack air.
Seems handy,
Yep.
I think. I don't know if they're going to be coming at me with air.
They will.
Okay, good. Then it's definitely handy.
Marines can shoot up though. So.
Shoot. You know, Marines sometimes do shoot up, Greg.
No, they do actually. That's STIM. That's an upgrade of theirs.
Oh.
That is super important for competitive play. I don't really use a whole ton of. STIM will increase your attack range, your movement speed, and your attack rate.
It's a crap ton of Marines.
Unfortunately, also our use of STIM is 10 hit points.
Oh, okay. That makes sense, though.
I believe both Firebats and Marines can use STIM.
I know. I need the gas. I'm working on it. I'm building the dudes.
So 3 in gas is saturation.
Okay, I got 1.
Yes.
Oh, that's just you two. There you go.
Excellent.
Oh, of course.
You've been supply blocked.
You must
Take
build
that.
additional pilots.
Yep.
But for Terran.
Yep.
I don't like that I have to occupy a worker while they build this.
Yep.
It's kind of a pain.
It's annoying. Just wait until he plays Zerg. Not only do you occupy a worker, you lose it.
Oh, really?
A drone will morph into a building, so you lose the drone.
Oh, okay, sure.
It's really annoying with defensive structures.
How under attack are we talking? Oh, pretty under attack.
So, as a vehicle, a vulture can be repaired by SCVs.
Okay.
Similar to buildings. Yep. There's one thing that Protoss and Zerg cannot do, right? Is repair things. Protoss have shields that regen, and Zerg have some health regen when they're on their creep, which is that stuff that, covers the base. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
Look at that, they're all just hanging out there. I feel like I could never have enough SCVs.
Nope. Well, you can eventually. I forget what. Let me just look it up. What StarCraft 1? Because in StarCraft 2, we'll have a number above each command center that tells you how many, and it'll change based on how many mineral patches it's close to. It'll tell you how many SCVs you need for saturation on it.
Oh,
Very nice.
Handy,
oh yeah, it's very nice. StarCraft 1 mineral saturation. Like I said, I think it might be 3 per point, like the same thing that gas is. Yeah.
We gotta do some research.
Yep, 3 workers per mineral patch.
Come on. Then cancel. Belay that.
Belay that order, Commander. Become a famous line. Mensk will belay a certain order.
Ooh.
Are all of your SCVs? I don't think they're all harvesting. No, that won't work.
Harvest all from the same patch.
Just keep an eye on them, make sure that everyone's in. There you go. Individually going. Alright, you're getting critical. So, it's also a different way.
Oh gosh.
Mutalisks.
What the heck?
So that fires a attack that bounces twice.
They can outrange the missile turret?
The missile turret doesn't attack ground.
Oh, sure. Why am I SCV over here? I do.
You do. Also, StarCraft 2 will have an auto repair function.
Oh, that's nice.
Be very nice. As of now, you have to do that manually.
Did I lose a vulture just now?
You did.
I did, wow.
Your vultures are built from a factory.
I don't have a factory, do I?
Nope. Sure don't.
Cool, so I lost something that I can't actually get back.
No, you can build a factory. You just haven't built one yet.
Right. Alright, what am I doing?
The other thing that StarCraft 2 will do with its minerals is that it'll make it an arc around the base as opposed to a patch like that. So you can see how even though technically, right, it would be 3 per patch,
right.
But that many SCVs wouldn't be efficient, right, because you can't get some of the inner patches.
Right.
So take the outer patches, multiply by 3, that's saturation for minerals.
Alright, so I need to build a factory, yeah?
Yep. Well, if you want vultures.
Do I not need vultures? Where are the missile turrets?
They are under, nope, sorry.
I want another bunker.
Yes, yep. Just bunker up. Bunkers with marines, that's the one thing is that, so again, think about what I was talking about with StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 1. Enough marines will pretty much kill everything. So cool. Bunkers with marines, for this mission at least, are going to be pretty much the best.
What we need.
Missile turrets will be nice too, you can put those down for anti-air coverage. Also, you'll probably want a couple more barrackses.
I believe it's
Barraxi.
Barraxi.
Baraka. It's a character from Mortal Kombat.
Get in there. Oh,
you put your SCV in there.
Well, unget in there. Alright, so factory.
Gonna want to put some missile turrets around here.
Yeah, I think you're right. Mostly
Mutalisks.
Mostly because you know this mission.
Yeah, Mutalisk Harass is also really annoying.
Yes.
So it's the flying units from the Zerg, they can attack both air and ground, and their attack bounces to 2 other units.
Right.
Very fast, and they regen really fast on health too, that's a unique thing. Everywhere.
Where are you?
Hiding. No unit occlusion.
Supply depot.
Yep, so keep on going to supply depots. A lot of times, double engineering bays are really great, so you can be doing armor and weapons at the same time, because upgrades take so long.
Bays. Man, we're not even close to engineering bays. You settle down. I don't even have a factory yet.
You don't really need a factory. Factories will eventually be where tanks come from, but vultures are not going to be too helpful.
Greg, where do tanks come from?
Yeah. So the Terran tech tree is pretty simple. You go barracks, factory, starport.
Missile. Where are the missiles? Missile.
T for turret.
Of course.
Also, Terran can build anywhere, right? That's the only race that can do that.
Except for up here, apparently.
I think that's because you don't have line of sight.
Oh, you line of sight. So can I build there as long as I send a guy there?
I think so. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's in theory a big Terran thing. You might have gotten your SCV stuck.
Engineering bay.
Oh, yeah, put up next to the other one. I don't know how far you're going to be able to upgrade.
Oh, there we go.
Ruh-roh.
Nice.
Hold up.
I like it.
Also, missile turrets are detectors for Terran, which you don't have to worry about yet, but they are your only static detector, otherwise you'll have a concept. So you can just move the. It's the other annoying thing. You have to move the vulture, as opposed to it just recognizing that and then the unit will move.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be another upgrade in StarCraft 2, obviously.
Sure.
My guess is you will enjoy StarCraft 2 far more to play.
Probably to play.
And I'll see what you think of the story. See, this. Well, I mean, look over.
Yeah, these upgrades.
Roll over it. No, the upgrade down here. Nope. Can you roll over the? Nope. Okay. So in StarCraft 2, we'll have a number associated with that as well.
Okay. The upgrade speed.
Yes. No, just the the percentage done.
Okay. Nice.
So click on your other NG bay that just finished.
Yep. What do you mean?
Oh, you're already doing it. Good.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't need to, seeing as how if you can only go to level 1 of the upgrade.
Oh, can I only go to level 1?
I don't know. You might be able to.
Great.
Sorry. Well, you saved a little bit of time on that other.
Yeah, that's right.
Technically.
Yeah, build a missile bay.
Turret.
I think everything's a bay, right?
Are there any? Is there anything that's? Oh, the engineering bay. Yeah. That's a good point. You're out of gas.
Thank you.
I assume you did not see that alert.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
So it's interesting when you're out of gas. So click on the geyser. So it'll say depleted. You're still getting 1 a pop out of it, I believe.
Gosh,
Or is it 1 a pop?
So
Let me see.
slow. It's 2, I think.
It's 2. So you can always get stuff out of it. It just will be slower rate, as opposed to minerals. When minerals are gone, they're gone, right?
Okay, sure. It just is down to like a slow leak.
Correct.
Alright, you're just gonna be on repair duty here.
I also want to. Did you fill that other bunker with?
I did.
Oh, you did. Good. Okay. Outstanding. You got stem on your Marines. Nice. Check if you can build. Oh, you can't. Sorry.
Well, you know, I got double engineering bays. This is good.
Oh, it doesn't matter. They're cheap. Besides, you're already floating on stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel pretty good about this. So I just need to keep building Marines.
Yeah. Yeah, you still need more Marines. Put down another barracks. And then, do you have anything left at the academy, or did you get range on your?
I think I got everything at the academy.
Good.
I just want to hear that sound effect. Really.
So your academy isn't a tech structure in that it doesn't unlock anything else. It just has infantry
Right.
upgrades.
It upgrades things.
Wow, it's really weird that it only gives you 1 guy. So you can, if you want, begin to just build up a bigger force and take over the map.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Take over the map?
Yeah.
Why would
So-
I do that?
Why not? Clear the map?
Because I'm supposed to survive, Greg. I'm not supposed to spread out. What's wrong with you?
You. Yeah. I've just been watching Day 9 play, and he'll only ever clear every single map he's on.
Really?
That's so. Go look at your SCVs. They're all, like, 3 of them are.
Just chilling.
I don't know if they're bugged out.
They must have mined out their resource.
Yeah, but they should have kept going. That's ridiculous. Even StarCraft 1 would do that.
Even StarCraft 1 isn't that bad.
Put a comsat on your thing and scout with it.
Oh.
Remember, just put it right over there. There you go. See, that way it won't move. That's a weird placement system, honestly.
Just remember, kids, you put the concept right on the existing comm center, it won't move.
You can build a factory if you want. You'll be able to put up a machine shop, which will then allow you to get spider mines for your vultures, and those are fun.
I'm just gonna keep building Marines.
Will win you almost every Terran map. So.
Oh, really? That's kind of boring.
It does. Yeah. We'll eventually want to switch over to tanks once we get there, but.
I gotta say the soundtrack's pretty solid. This is pretty good.
Each race has a different soundtrack too.
All right, sure. We'll build a factory.
Also, just look how ugly every single unit model is. Like, look how ugly they made the SCV.
Yeah.
Or the portrait.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Is it advanced factory?
Nope.
Yeah.
Or it's under advanced, yeah. You want a piece of me, boy? Pop. 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 Look how much gore that is relative to the size of the unit.
Oh yeah.
We got all the... Good lord, watch when a Hydralisk explodes. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Might lose that bunker. It's also very unclear. What would you say the Hydralisks are doing?
Like puking?
Puking?
Maybe, yeah.
It's pretty unclear.
Like shooting venom out of their mouths?
Right.
Yeah.
Spikes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Whoa, that guy's...
Good thing that you had those bunkers.
Because that would have killed them? All of them?
No. Well, the Marines, actually... I don't know, I was just saying, if you just had one bunker, it probably actually would have shot that down, too.
Yeah.
Mutalisks are really good against Marines, right? Because they have the bouncing attack.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Marines have very low health. Also, most of the time your Marines are going to be, in a multiplayer match, lower health because you've been stimming them.
Oh, interesting.
And stim is, I think, 10 damage per activation.
Alright, so now we can build machine shop.
Yep, that's the attachment. And the machine shop will just be... So these attachments to buildings, for production buildings, for Terran, they'll both have upgrades on them, so you can upgrade stuff in them, but they also will be like an unlock to build a certain type of unit from that building, right?
Yeah, sure.
So you'll need a machine shop to build tanks from a factory, for instance. Now the other interesting thing is, you can actually lift off, which they take advantage of this in Starcraft 2 a lot better, and I like it a lot, but you can't, if you were to lift off this factory, you wouldn't take the machine shop.
Oh.
You'd have to put it on somewhere else, and you could put a different factory on the machine shop.
What is the point of that?
Unclear, honestly. So in StarCraft 2, the add-ons are not unique to the building. Just all of the production buildings use the same 2 add-ons.
Oh, okay.
So you can build a reactor on a barracks, and then move the barracks off and put a factory on top of it.
Oh gosh.
Instead of having, and then the reactor will attach to the factory, and
That's
that actually
pretty
helps
cool.
the factory. Yeah. So similar with there's reactors and tech labs, basically. And but in this one, they're not modular, right? A machine shop only goes to a factory. So similarly, a ComSat only goes to a command center, and then the spaceport gets a flight tower, I believe.
Just saying, what needs to be repaired? Anything? Yeah, this guy.
This guy.
10 minutes until dropship arrives.
Oh, right.
So even this has been substantially easy, right?
Oh, yeah, this has been pretty
Like, you're way overstocked right now.
Am I?
I mean, nothing's gotten close to even
what's
destroying a
coming
single
at
bunker, right?
That's a good point.
This isn't there are millions or billions.
I know, right?
Where you're like,
You
okay,
can
we
never
got
be
it, and then
prepared
at the
enough.
end, like they're gonna send just like unlimited ultras, and you're like, well, I guess I didn't see that coming. Like even this dude's still alive. I can't.
Yeah, I don't really understand that. He's just my scout.
Well, they just haven't sent Mutalisks to kill him yet. So yeah, those are really the Terran fortifications are gonna be bunkers, missile turrets, and then siege tanks, right? Siege tanks are basically large turrets.
Yeah.
So. They are by far the tankiest of the factions.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
Protoss can build turrets or cannons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Zerg have. You'll see.
So, is there any strategy that involves just being like a turtle with a turn? I'm not be good at it.
In multiplayer?
Yeah.
No. Maybe siege tanking. StarCraft lives and dies on expansion, getting more and more bases, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
And getting more stuff than your opponent. So if you're doing that, you are probably doing better.
Right.
So in terms of turtling,
That seems bad.
yeah, now I can't think of any.
When you put it that
Turtling
way.
will never win the game, right?
Well, that's true.
You'll never destroy your opponent's bases with it.
It's purely out of spite.
Bunker rushes are good. You'll see that. Including on the machine shop, yep, and that should. Oh, never mind. You can't get.
I already got the spider mines.
Oh, you did? Good. So now they just have a. You know what that upgrade was?
Nope.
You just
I
bought
was
it.
doing what was left. But yeah, we have spider mines.
Those are fun.
Can I just lay them? Like,
Yeah.
will they last forever?
Yep. Yep. They last forever. You get 3 a pop.
Where are you? Where are you going, dude?
Can't fit through. I dig.
He digs.
And I believe you only get 3 and they don't regen. Now these are actually used in multiplayer.
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man's, yeah. Just because they're giant AoE. When they're burrowed, they're cloaked, right? So you
Right.
need a detector to find them.
Okay, cloak seems like such an important part of the game.
It's just not much of it in the game. There's not many units that do it.
Right.
Now the Zerg, almost every Zerg ground unit can burrow, which is cloak. It just is a mobile cloak.
Right.
And so burrowing's important. And yeah, so whenever you're any attack or armor information, you can scroll over in the bottom unit tab there.
Sure.
For the damage.
Why are there zeros here?
That is the level of upgrade it's at.
Oh, okay.
So if you were to build an armory, which I don't even know if you can build an armory.
I don't think we
Like click on a marine, right?
I think we built everything we can build.
I got 1/1s. That would be the parlance. Would be 1/1.
Okay.
So 2/1.
And armor's always first.
Oh boy. Normally no, it's attack first, then armor.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then Protoss can upgrade their shields as well, so you can be 1/1/1. Or 3/3/3. Roll over stim.
Your forces are under
I'm right here.
Oh.
It doesn't say what it does. It's the other thing, no tooltips.
Oh, dang. And so what does that do?
10 damage, and I believe faster movement, faster attack speed.
Oh my gosh, like much faster.
Doesn't last forever though. But yeah, way faster, so that's... It's a huge force multiplier when you move in, because, again, micro would be move, attack, move, attack, move, attack,
right.
And you're always trying to get closer to get a better concave on your enemy with ranged units. So stim is perfect for that, right? Close distance, and you attack faster with it.
Right.
So it's super, super good.
Seems very good.
You might notice you don't have any medics.
Nope.
Those are in Brood War. They're expansion units, so you won't have any of
those. Oh, interesting. It seems like stims with medics would be insane.
Yeah, that was the idea. Was that was they were basically trying to compensate for that and make Marines a not kind of one and done unit. Which I kind of like the idea, even in the lore, of having these criminals who are then re-socialized and are completely expendable, using these drugs that are slowly destroying their bodies, being expendable in that way, right? And you kill them and with the stim, super dark, right? And then you build more, as opposed to them being a force that'll be able to be healed.
Right.
Doesn't seem very in character for the Confederacy to be healing things, right?
Yeah. Gather? What does this mean?
That'll just press it. It's just it's the command for gathering a mineral or a gas.
But you never use H click on it.
No, right click. Same way that you never use the move command. I mean, there's a move command there.
Yeah.
Stop you will use, then attack you obviously will use, but.
Oh, we got some more vultures.
Again, they made vultures. I don't know what those are supposed to be. Just terrifying. Like late 90s tech, just terrifying aesthetic, I guess, is what they did for all this. Also, go over to the turrets. Zoom in.
What do you want?
Zoom in on a turret. Can you tell? There is actually supposed to be a person in there.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Huh.
That was a debate for a very long time, whether or not there's a guy in there.
But when they remastered it, it was clear that there was supposed to be?
Yeah. And obviously this is the original graphics,
Right,
but
right.
also just the idea of a dude who's just been rotating for
Yeah, he's just spinning
ever
around.
is horrifying. They give you so many minerals, it's insane. Look at that.
Wow.
They didn't even have time to kill him.
Oh, the
Watch,
spider
they're gonna pop,
Oh yeah, you're right. They keep losing
and they keep on losing their target. Alright, there they go. Oh, and they still
They
did.
reburied. That's hilarious.
I didn't know that we would do that, actually.
Yeah, like go back.
So that's a thing that's just, again, why, like, so if you see a Spider-Man pop, you literally, like, the Dragoon micro is a big thing with Protoss versus Terran. Terran will use a lot of vultures, they won't go tank, and Dragoons are super vulnerable to the spider mines because they're slow and big and they'll get hit. So the idea is you get Dragoon range, so that when you get close enough to pop a spider mine, you can pull back and still shoot at maximum range and kill the spider man before you get to your giant Dragoon army that's super hard to control.
Right.
So Spider-Mans were so good against Dragoons because they were so unwieldy, and the micro on a Dragoon was so hard that it was definitely worth fling down Spider-Mines and killing 3 or 4 Dragoons at once.
Right. Interesting.
So that's, again, like this kind of immersive, or not immersive, what's the word? Emergent gameplay from the crappy game mechanics that actually led to a lot of strategic depth.
Right. Huh.
For the way that you were going to be playing around. And then obviously that made observers, which are the detection unit for Protoss, super important to have, which then would lead to counterplay for Terrans. If you destroy their observers, they're going to have a lot harder time, or just feel a lot less safe moving around the map, right? Vultures are very fast, so Terran will always be able to outpace Protoss in terms of speed and expansions. Jeez. I think you're good.
So good.
Also, the Hydralisks are apparently firing spines out of their back.
Oh, interesting. That's what's actually happening?
I think. I'm guessing that's the fire right there.
Probably.
Yeah, more Marines down south, right?
Oh my gosh.
Jeez, man. Oh my god. Wow, they really sent everything up there, didn't they? I'd pull out your Marines.
I would. I can't. How do I do that?
Holy crap, man. See if you can survive for 30 more seconds. Also just switch to windowed.
Yeah.
To avoid that.
Yeah, we'll do that after this. 2.
Well.
1. That was pretty. That was a brutal end to that.
Wow, that was a lot closer than I remembered that happening.
Wow.
So in that case, yeah.
That is not how I should have done that, clearly.
Well, I love that, right? Like, it actually feels like it was kind of this desperate, but of course you're floating 3,500, so...
Right, yeah, that's...
You could have been maxed.
Right.
Yeah, in Marines, but... Wow, they went a lot harder than I remember them.
Dang, yeah, they killed 41 of my units. That's pretty
Probably
good.
most of what you had.
Yeah.
The Jacobs installation.
Alright, I'm gonna switch to... we'll switch to window mode in a second here after we hear this bit of lore.
Yeah. Well, how about we just stay full screen until it begins getting bad and then switch?
It's not, like, easy to switch back and forth.
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna mess up the stream.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Arcturus' voice sprung me from the prison ship. Apparently they're as frustrated with the Confederates as we are. Their reputation. They seem to be on the level. I think Arcturus wanted to speak with you.
Why does Jimmy have a unibrow?
The Confederates are abandoning the planet. So are we. However, one thing I've got to do before we leave. I want you to raid this colony's Confederate and retrieve whatever schematics that you can find in their networks. With the chaos of the Confederates' evacuation, you shouldn't have any trouble getting in or out of their installation. I'm into it.
He's into it.
I love, like, the... So, okay, so it'll mess up the stream every time. We can't just switch in-game.
No, because it's gonna go... You're gonna see a lot of the background.
Yeah.
From the game. Right, so with this whole screen is being cast. It's window.
Oh, I see.
It's not zoomed in.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Okay, well, yeah, let's reset that then.
Alright. So, we're gonna pop out here to some options. Switch this over to window.
So strange.
Here it is. Alright.
Well, we can do remaster now. That way, man.
Sure, yeah, we can do remastered. I'm gonna change a couple things on the stream. Greg, you want to talk about anything that's been happening so far?
Oh, let's think. So yeah, I'd say the continual darkness of the setting, the worlds being in a wasteland. It's also interesting just thinking like, so we just get the sentence right. Marsar has been overrun by the Zerg. We don't get to see that. We don't get to. So again, by a lot of things that StarCraft 2 does better, which is show things happening in mission as well as outside of mission cutscenes. Far more, certainly in a far prettier sense because later tech, but also because it's just we have a better sense of how to do story in RTSs. There's so many things that like StarCraft 1 does quote unquote wrong with its campaign, right, and its story, and obviously even in terms of thinking objectives, I mean as of yet we are only mission 4 or 5, so not too deep, but I mean the objectives have been incredibly simple, if not insulting. Survive, clear the map, build a base, We're now going to get one of my favorite conventions of RTS campaigns, which is an indoor mission, where you play inside without a base. This will give me slight PTSD flashbacks to Command and Conquer and Red Alert, where the indoor missions were punishingly difficult, because this is where, if you've ever heard of the kind of thing where you would save every like 10 seconds, if you could in a game, this is where that came from, was a lot of the indoor missions in RTSs, I believe. Probably not only, but good lord, I just remember if you had a good engagement, basically, because you have a set amount of units and that's it. And usually there's going to be some kind of movement mechanic where you have to find teleporter pads to get around. There'll be some secrets, and you'll have a small group of infantry units that you have to use pretty much perfectly. And if you lose them, that's it, and you pretty much have to restart the whole mission. So every time you got a good engagement, basically. And again, with the older games, when the micro was a lot less sensitive, you would have... sometimes it'd just be luck. Like if you came upon an enemy patrol at the right time and you had a good concave, or if you had just given a move order and all of your infantry had gone into an antline, then you have a bad one, and you get a bad engagement, and you might take more damage, or even lose a unit, God forbid, and then have to start off the whole mission.
God forbid you lose a unit. I just lost like 40 units, Greg.
Right, so that's why indoor missions were always so terrifying. It was also really hard for young Greg to understand the intricacies of the units were the same size in the indoor mission as they were in the outdoor missions. It was really confusing, because you would end an outdoor mission with like capturing a building, and then you'd play the next mission inside that building. But the screen would be the exact same size, and the units would be the same size on the screen. So I was always that always was so difficult for me to internalize in terms of screen scale.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, well we're almost done with tweaking.
But anyway, so yeah, I think the thing I want to call into question here is the mode and method of the story being showed to us is inferior to StarCraft 2, but the story itself is better, in my opinion.
Interesting. So you mean it's like the plot, basically?
Yeah,
and the
plot and the writing.
The writing, yeah.
Voice acting in both are fantastic. I mean, all production value is going to be top tier for
Blizzard.
For Blizzard,
they do a good job.
Generally. Yeah, as well as all of the information I had to give you about the units and the history. I mean, imagine just jumping into this without any of that. Like, it throws around like the Protoss have burned this place. We're talking about the Confederacy and the Sons of Korhal and...
Yeah, I pretty much just would have like proceeded under the assumption that everyone's a little evil.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like, just like, oh well, they're all fighting, so we've come up with a reason that they're evil, and that's fine.
And that's such an interesting thing that I think is actually really important for RTS, which is actually defining why these characters would, or these races would be fighting in the multiplayer mode. Having a plausible reason for why these guys would all be fighting each other. And you are going to see two very different options in terms of the way that StarCraft 2 does that justification and StarCraft 1, in my opinion. Both will answer the question very differently.
Of why they're fighting?
Of why you would have Protoss versus Terran versus, why all three factions are there and why they're fighting. Which is like the base reason for an RTS to exist.
Because two factions are fighting?
Well, yeah. Well, just having that reasoning. And some people probably wouldn't care about that a whole ton for the... Nice.
All right, let's do this.
Back?
We can go ahead and let's enable the HD graphics
let's
here.
turn those in.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, it's so pretty.
Look at that.
Now here, go to options again.
Our screen may have frozen. One second. What's going on? Oh, now it's like way over. You gotta fit this to the screen.
Oh my god, I never put together that was supposed to be battleships and a carrier. Oh my god, and Mutalisks. Wow, that's insane. That's funny. Never would have gotten that.
I'm not really sure. The streaming software's bugging out a little bit. Not great.
Turn off, turn back on?
Yeah, I can. Let's turn off the stream.
Good. drink. You
Okay. All right, well, we're gonna take a little bit of a break here. Gonna throw up the logo here and give us a second to reset this. All right.